Hi, I'm producing this video to explain a little bit about the tests that we have and maybe some tips on how to do well on them, prepare for them, and just give you the particulars of taking tests. I think by now you should have taken the test and got yourself hooked up with HonorLock. If you have not, you will need to do that before you can take any of the unit tests. Now, let me make a distinction here. The tests are different from the quizzes that you take in Connect. These are actually, we take in D2L, and they're considerably different. Okay, so the first thing is you will find the tests themselves under exams, just like you found with where the test was. Excuse me then, and they'll be listed here, and you'll launch them from here, okay? And if you did sign up with HonorLock, then everything should go smoothly into the actual test itself. You'll go through the same drill that you did with the test, and you will, the verification process and all that, and you'll be able to start taking the tests. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the tests themselves. Let's talk about those a little bit. They are 50 questions, multiple choice. They're going to feel a whole lot like the quiz questions that you took at the end of the chapters. So as a basis to help you kind of say, like, well, how prepared do I think I am? How prepared were you when you took the quizzes themselves? You felt like you were pretty comfortable with that. You'll probably be pretty comfortable with the content as it's presented in the quiz. in the test, I'm sorry. So it's 50 questions. It's timed, so you have a little over 1.5 minutes per question. Here's how to think about that then. It's really important that you know as many of the questions as you possibly can. So in other words, when you read the question, you say to yourself, oh, I know the answer, now I have to just find it out of the multiple choice questions. These are not wordy questions, and the answers are not wordy either. They're pretty simple statements, so it shouldn't take you a whole long time to kind of process the information, so to speak. So here's a good time to point out that the more of those that you know, the quicker you're going to go through the test, and that will leave you some that you're not a little less clear about. And because, and this is important, the tests are open book, which is the equivalent of saying you can have your content, your Connect page open that has the test in the book itself. That's accessible to you while you take the test, as is any notes that you've taken. It records. HonorLock actually records websites you go to, so make sure you don't go to websites that are not related to these very specific tasks. I don't limit everything from a website standpoint, but it's all recorded, and don't do it because that constitutes cheating, and we don't want that to happen. Okay. Excuse me then. So as you're taking the test, that's going to leave some questions that maybe you're not so clear about. Yeah, well, that's what the open book part comes in, okay? You can't possibly look up every answer to every question in the book. You don't have the time, so you want to be able to answer as many as possible. I have the test set up that you can go through and answer as many as you really know and go back on the ones that you need a little more time to process or look up or whatever, okay? So that's my first and very important point I want to make in terms of how to do well on the test is know as many of the answers as possible. Use the open book option, your open notes option, only when you're not quite as clear. Okay? And that goes a long way to relieving the anxiety of taking tests as well. All right. So that's that part. So when you're in it, you're taking it again. It's timed. You get one opportunity to take each of these tests. So make sure you're really prepared and ready to do it. They have to be complete by the deadlines as they're stated in the schedule or on the test itself when you're going to take it. They have to be complete by that point. I think that's a really important point to make as well. So in other words, don't start the test, 30 minutes before the deadline, because that's as much time as you have to actually finish the test, and that's not enough time. All right. The other part of it is, you know, how do you prepare for it? Well, again, you've read the chapters, you've taken notes. I'm going to give you a little hint here. A big hint here is that these tests are based quite a bit on the text. So it's not like there's a lot of questions coming out of some of the other materials. So I'm helping you out a little bit. You know, if you're concentrating on understanding the material as it's presented in the text, and reinforcing the micro lectures, but basically as it's presented in the text, you'll be in pretty good shape to take our class test. Okay? So if I open up that, this is opening up the actual text. A couple things that might help you kind of organize your thoughts in terms of how do I kind of parse this out. Every one of these things starts off with a learning objective, and that's what these things here, and basically asks you to do something very specific and be able to do that when you're done looking at the material. So that's a good guide for you to say, it's like, do I know it or not? Can I describe what management is, why management is important, what managers do, how managers use organizational resources efficiently and effectively to achieve organizational goals? Can I describe that? Then you're probably in pretty good shape to cover that, at least that section of the test. Okay? So that gives you a pretty good idea as to how to go through and do that. One of the things I really like about these texts is that they're interactive, and if you need a little more, like a glossary dialogue, those kinds of things, that's pretty easily done here, okay, by clicking on these hyperlinked little pieces all throughout the book. Okay, so that should help you prepare for the test. Just get yourself mentally prepared before you take it, and I think you'll do fine. If you've been doing well on the quizzes, I think you'll do fine on the test. If you have any questions about any of this, please let me know. I'm happy to answer any questions or help you in any way I can. Again, my mission, my objective here is for you to do as well as you possibly can and learn as much as you possibly can from this class. So that's what I'm here to do. So let me help you if I can. All right? And that's it. So don't hesitate to reach out and ask any questions. Thank you.